All right, so welcome to this week's deep dive, and we're tackling something a little different this time. Get ready to kind of explore the connection between global events and your own personal horoscope. Yeah, so we're looking at the Taurus forecast for the week, and we're also going to be unpacking some wild news from around the globe.
Yeah, it might sound like an odd pairing, world events and your horoscope, but trust me, we're going to unpack these two sources. A news-filled astrological forecast video and your personalized horoscope, and I think you'll see that understanding the energy of the week can offer some pretty surprising insights.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our first source is this incredible video by astrologer Humayun Mehboob. And it's packed with analysis of some pretty intense events, some that have already happened and some predictions of what's to come. I mean, this past week has been kind of a roller coaster, hasn't it? From near misses in aviation to extreme weather. There's a lot to break down.
There really is, and it highlights how these larger events can reflect a sort of global energy, a feeling of things being in constant motion, almost a sense of upheaval in some ways.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder if there's a bigger pattern at play. Like, are we just more aware of these calamities now? Or is something else going on? I mean, Mehboob pointed out a series of incidents that really make you think twice about hopping on a plane these days.
Absolutely. Two small planes colliding midair in Arizona. I mean, that's not something you hear about every day. And then you have that Delta Airlines flight that almost crashed while landing in Canada. It's enough to make anyone a bit nervous about air travel.
Yeah, totally. And those incidents are just the tip of the iceberg. Mehboob also talks about the severe weather and flooding that we've been seeing in Kentucky and Australia. And he's predicting even more extreme events to come. Especially as we said towards the end of March, he specifically mentioned tsunamis and heavy rains as potential threats for Japan, Korea, China, and the Far East. I mean, it's a lot to take in. It kind of feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next.
Right, and what's interesting here is that Mehboob links these natural events to planetary movements and astrological alignments. He sees these events as part of a larger cosmic pattern, not just isolated incidents.
So there might be more to these events than meets the eye. Like they're not just random occurrences, but part of some larger astrological dance.
Exactly, and it's not just natural disasters that fit into this cosmic pattern. Mehboob also analyzed a few recent political events through this astrological lens. You remember Donald Trump's proposal to have Pakistan repay the U.S. $500 billion in aid with minerals?
Oh yeah, that was all over the news. But how does that tie into astrology?
Well, Mehboob used this as an example of how the mistakes of momentary rulers have an impact for centuries. He believes that the decisions made by leaders today, even seemingly short-sighted ones, can reverberate for generations, shaping the course of history in ways we might not even be able to imagine.
Wow. That's a pretty profound way of looking at things. It makes you realize that we're all connected to this larger tapestry of history. And even seemingly small actions can have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate understanding.
Right. And speaking of ripple effects, Mehboob also pointed to the record-breaking gold prices as a sign of the times.
Okay, gold prices, that definitely hits closer to home for most people. What's the connection there?
Well, historically, gold has been seen as a safe haven during times of uncertainty. When people are worried about the economy or political instability, they often turn to gold as a way to protect their wealth. So these record prices suggest a heightened level of anxiety, both individually and on a global scale.
So people are basically hedging their bets against potential chaos.
In a sense, yes, it's like a collective bracing for impact, a subconscious awareness of the potential for major shifts and upheavals.
And this connects to the astrological predictions how?
Well, Mehboob sees these economic trends as part of the same cosmic energy that's driving the natural disasters and political conflicts. He believes that we're in a period of transition, a time when old structures are crumbling and new ones are beginning to emerge. It's a time of uncertainty, but also a time of immense potential for transformation and growth.
So kind of like a cosmic shakeup.
Exactly. And this shakeup is being felt on all levels, global, personal, and everything in between.
Okay, that's a lot to process. But it definitely makes you think, right? We've got this world in flux with everything from plane crashes to economic jitters, and it all seems to be tied to these larger astrological patterns. It's almost like there's an underlying energy pushing us towards.
And that something is what we're going to explore as we delve into your personal horoscope for the week, ready to see how this global energy might be playing out in your own life.
Absolutely. Let's dive into your Taurus forecast and see what insights we can uncover. Okay, so we've got this backdrop of global events, this sense of things being in flux, and Mehboob's predictions about potential upheavals. So let's explore how this energy might manifest in your personal life this week. specifically for those born under the sign of Taurus. What does your horoscope have to say about navigating this cosmic shakeup?
Well, the overarching theme for Taurus this week seems to be one of caution and balance. The horoscope advises against interfering in others' affairs and vice versa. It's like a call to focus on your own sphere, your own personal space, and avoid getting caught up in unnecessary drama or conflicts.
Yeah, that's interesting because it almost mirrors what's happening on a global scale, right? All these conflicts and tensions simmering beneath the surface. Maybe this is a week where it's best to just stay in your own lane and focus on what you can control.
Exactly. And this emphasis on caution extends to your professional life as well. The horoscope specifically mentions the need for balance, especially for those in government or private jobs. It's suggesting that this might not be the best time for rocking the boat or making any old moves.
So lay low, keep your head down, and weather the storm. It's almost like the universe is saying, take a deep breath, Taurus. Things are a bit shaky right now. Let's just get through this week together.
Precisely. And this need for careful navigation isn't just limited to work. The horoscope also highlights potential challenges in relationships, urging you to choose your words carefully and avoid impulsive actions.
Okay, so the communication is key this week. Don't jump to conclusions. Think before you speak. And maybe avoid any heated debates about politics or religion at the dinner table.
That sounds like a wise approach. And remember, this isn't about being passive or avoiding confrontation altogether. It's about being mindful of the energy that's present and choosing your battles wisely. Sometimes, a strategic retreat can be more powerful than a head-on collision.
I like that. It's almost like a martial arts move, using the other person's energy against them, redirecting it instead of meeting it with force.
Exactly. And this theme of careful consideration extends to financial decisions as well. The horoscope advises seeking legal counsel. Before signing any agreements or making any significant investments, remember Mehboo's observation about the long-term impact of decisions? Well, this week it seems that due diligence is key.
So no impulse buys, no risky ventures, and definitely no lending money to that friend who always has a can't-miss business idea.
Right. This is a time to be practical, grounded, and make sure you're fully informed before committing to anything. Think of it as a week for solidifying your foundation, making sure everything is secure and stable.
Which makes sense. Given all this talk of upheaval and uncertainty in the world, it's almost like the universe is giving us a chance to get our own houses in order before the next big wave hits.
Right. Now, despite all this talk of caution, the horoscope isn't all doom and gloom. There's actually some really positive news for Taurus this week, particularly in the realm of relationships. For single Tauruses, there's potential for romantic progress, maybe even meeting someone special. And for those in established relationships, especially those with children of marriageable age, this week could bring proposals or advancements in those relationships.
Oh, that's lovely. So even amidst all this cosmic chaos, there's still room for love and connection. It's like a little ray of sunshine peeking through the storm clouds.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in challenging times, life goes on. We can still find joy, celebrate milestones, and deepen our connections with the people we care about. It's about finding those moments of beauty and connection amidst the larger currents of change.
Yeah, and holding on to those moments. Because there will give us strength and hope to navigate the challenges. But speaking of challenges, the horoscope also mentions some potential health concerns for Taurus this week. Specifically, it warns against dental issues, mouth infections, or injuries. Maybe it's a good week to stock up on mouthwash and avoid any extreme sports.
It certainly can't hurt. Taking care of your physical well-being is always important, but especially during times of stress or uncertainty. Remember, when we feel good physically, we're better equipped to handle whatever life throws our way.
So true. All right, so let's recap for our Taurus listeners. This week is all about caution, balance, and making mindful choices. But it's also about finding joy in connection and taking care of your physical well-being. It's a balancing act for sure. But isn't that what life is all about?
Absolutely. And I think what's fascinating here is how your personal horoscope so beautifully mirrors the themes we saw in Mehboo's analysis of world events. It's like those global energies are filtering down and influencing your personal experiences.
Yeah, it's like we're all connected to this larger web of energy, and what happens on a global scale can ripple down and affect our individual lives. But it's not just about being swept away by these currents. It's about understanding them, working with them, and ultimately using them to our advantage.
Exactly. So, dear listener, as we move into the final part of this deep dive, I want you to consider this. How can you use this awareness of the global and personal energies at play to navigate this week with intention and grace? What small adjustments can you make to your plans or your mindset to ensure you're moving with the current, not against it.
That's such a powerful question to consider. It's almost like we've been given a sneak peek into the week's energy. And now we have the chance to use that knowledge to make more informed choices, whether it's about a potential real estate deal or a tricky conversation with a loved one, or even just deciding how to approach our day.
Yeah, it's all about empowerment, really. Astrology and horoscopes aren't about predicting the future with certainty. They're more like roadmaps. They can help us understand the potential challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, but ultimately, we have the power to choose how we navigate those twists and turns.
I love that analogy. So it's less about fate and more about using this cosmic insight to make conscious decisions. Like, okay, maybe this week isn't the best time to start a new business venture if my horoscope is highlighting the need for caution and financial prudence. But maybe it's the perfect time to focus on strengthening existing relationships or taking some time for self-care.
Right, exactly. It's about recognizing the energy of the week and working with it rather than resisting it. So if the global landscape is feeling a bit turbulent, maybe this isn't the week to push for that promotion at work. But perhaps it's an opportunity to shore up your savings, connect with loved ones, or simply slow down and appreciate the simple things in life.
And maybe, just maybe, by aligning ourselves with this cosmic energy, we can actually use it to our advantage. Like, instead of getting swept away by the current, we can learn to ride the wave.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and it's a reminder that even in the midst of uncertainty and change, there's always the potential for growth, for transformation, and for finding our own unique rhythm within the larger dance of life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to leave our Taurus listeners with this final thought. What one small adjustment can you make to your plans or your mindset to embrace the energy of this week, to navigate it with more ease and awareness, and perhaps even to uncover some hidden opportunities within the challenges?
It's a question worth pondering, and I have a feeling the answers you discover will be far more insightful than anything we could offer here.
So true. Well, that brings us to the end of another fascinating deep dive. I don't know about you, but I always find it incredibly enriching to explore these connections between the personal and the global, between our individual lives and the larger cosmic tapestry.
It really is fascinating. It's a reminder that we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves, and that even in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, there's an underlying order, a rhythm, and a beauty that connects us all.
And with that thought in mind, we wish you a wonderful week ahead. Stay curious, stay mindful, and as always, stay tuned for our next deep dive.
Until next time.